and realized it wasn't working. So, hi, this is Pete Seckerson. This is my submission on the Kanban application that was asked for me. So I had a couple issues that I ran into. First and foremost was that I had a very tough time installing MongoDB in general. I'm running Catalina on my Mac, and as I kept running into these issues with the starting the server on it and finding the database, I ended up finding out a lot of information as far as from Big Sur on the users. I can't remember if I think it's the users data section is a read only. I ended up having to uninstall and try to figure out a way to uninstall the Mongo community as much as I could, and then I did a full reinstall of Homebrew, got it running somewhat, but I couldn't get it wired up. So unfortunately, right off the bat, I couldn't get the back end tied in. So what I did was I just, after spending a few hours on that, I tried to focus on at least getting a front end somewhat looking okay, just so you guys can see, at least somewhat of the skills that I possess. So moving over to the front end here, I originally had wanted to make this, utilizing a bunch of components over here for a cards component, a list component. I've done a to-do list before, but I've never done anything with drag and drop. So I did a little bit of research and found the React Beautiful drag and drop library. So I npm installed that, as well as the UID library, just for the random IDs. Did a bunch of reading on that. Since I couldn't tie the backend here, I created a dummy store here using a new ID with a title. I used your object keys from the backend for tasks endpoint just to try to keep it somewhat like that I was in the direction. I wasn't there, but it is what it is. Got a title, description, and an assignee. Here's my columns here, empty state with the arrays, everything here, and then the items I passed in with my static dummy data from up here on the test from the back end. These are my functions for dragging and dropping. This one here just shows if it not result to have the card pop back out. If it's popped out of the column to put it, it has to be within a column basically. And then down here, I've got my styles. I've got my header here using my state from the columns on the back end. That's my current state. Did a bunch of, this is all new to me. All these drag drop contexts, the draggables, the droppables. Droppable ends up being, my column that's here with the specific ID. Just styled it a little bit here. And here's my draggable, which is basically the card that you're moving around using the provided and the snapshot that's part of the library, the drag and drop library. And here's basically the, inside that div of the card is my, item title, item description, and the assigned to is the assignee. I've got the buttons. Again, the buttons don't really do anything because I couldn't get the back end tied in, unfortunately. But let me go over to the app now just to show you how it looks. So here's my app. I got the to do, the in progress, the done. I've got a first task with a description. Here's testing is the assigned to, put assigned to Pete for now. Again, since I couldn't get a delete or put request working, I couldn't do the edit, but the buttons are there. Down here would be for the post request right here to add a task, but I was able to get it to I can get it to actually, move over and drop. And you can see here, the state does update with my items of here's my to-do state, to-do column in the state there. Progress here has one item now that is moved in, which would be my first task. And done showing empty right now. I want to move third task in there. It does. It moves over the specified ID with it, so that should always stay static, that ID, even if I move it into in progress here. And where did in progress go? Yes, it's right here. So it's, it on a very, very surface level, it works. I've been able to drag and drop these cards around. I really would have loved to have been able to figure out tying it in with the back end to actually make this dynamic, but I wanted to at least show you guys something, with the time that I was allotted. So hopefully, this does something, but, again, I got tripped up, but it was definitely interesting, and I look forward to diving a little bit more into this whole drag and drop library and MongoDB as well. I've only had experience with SQL, so definitely another thing to take a deeper dive on. So thank you so much. Again, this is Pete Seckerson and my Kanban assignment. Thank you.